FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz at 6/11/19. Well, the market has recovered from its tumultuousness a couple of weeks ago. Is that really what's going on, or is it just an excuse for distribution, dead cat bounce? Well, we're going to find out more about that in a moment. Hey, as always, email us kl@kerrylutz.com. Running a little bit of a contest. If you can get closest to what Bitcoin is, its price on July 20th, 2019. That's right around my birthday. And you beat me. You beat my estimate, which is 66.50. You will receive a free pre-1965 quarter. 90% silver. It's worth a couple of bucks now. And if the person you're about to hear from is right, it's going to be worth a lot more soon. And without further ado, I'll bring on Charles Nenner. And Charles, your site, charlesnenner.com. You can go there, send an email, get a free subscription for a couple of, you just click the green button and fill in the info and get a free trial. Charles, it's great to have you back. And
well, great to be here.
So you're making some pretty drastic market calls here. One on gold and number 2 on the general stock market.
Right. There's a lot going to happen soon.
Mm-hmm. How soon is soon?
Well, as I don't know if you remember, we went out of the stock market totally in January 2018. And at the time, we explained why. It was very simple. And then for short-term trades, we're playing the bounces up and down. And we wrote for traders who are investors who are not out yet, because we get new people that subscribe to us all the time. Take the advantage of the next move up, which started, and be out in the summer because this market is stopping, and there's not much you can reach on the upside, maybe 2, 3, 4%, and the downside is going to be very big. So we warn everybody, it's not even worthwhile to stay in for the long run, like everybody says. It's better to take profits and to go out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, better to be a live chicken than a dead hero, right?
Right. In this case, that's totally correct.
Yeah. So now we're looking at it. The market took a hit last month. It seems to have bounced back, or 2 weeks ago. It seems to have bounced back pretty smartly. Is it going to hit a new high before it starts its decline, or are we kind of done?
No, we have a short-term top in about 2 days, and then we see some weakness again, and then one more time up in July. That's what I'm looking for. The whole year maximum was just above 3,000 for the S&P, and I explained how we got to that number. So there's not much to gain on the upside, and soon is going to be troublesome. What's going to be the trouble? The trouble is the economy is not going to perform as good as everybody thinks, and the inflation is not coming. And we start with an inflation that's not even 2%, and it's just above 1% in Europe. So you can imagine if the economy turns down, we will get into a deflationary period that most people don't even are familiar how to save themselves in deflationary period. The other problem is that usually when there is an economic recession, we start from a GDP of 5-6%, and now we're going to be 2%, 1%. They were also going to be negative. So it's close to the end, and it's going to be a very difficult situation because the Fed has done actually all they could already a couple of years ago, and it's going to be very difficult to keep these things from coming down in a strong way.
Mm-hmm. So trouble ahead, but you're thinking that gold is going to perform, huh?
Yeah, gold, we have an upside target of 2,500. We're right now long gold, but we're still trading up and down. And gold after the summer should start the big bull move. So you will ask me why gold if there's deflation, and the answer is if you look at financial history, then there are a lot of bull markets in deflationary periods, and it does have to be inflation because in deflation period the stocks go down. If there's a liquidity problem, the interest rates are high. Even real estate goes down. So the only place that people can find some refuge is in gold. So that's why you have in deflationary periods gold that are in a bull market.
Wow. So interesting. And obviously it's going to bring silver along, and silver is going to go up even more than gold, correct?
Correct. But for the moment, it doesn't move silver, and it stays behind.
It'll lag until one day. I think, I can't remember who it was. A commentator out there said that silver will be the worst investment in the world until one day when you wake up and it's the best.
Correct. So, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially when silver starts outperform gold, then we're really going to shoot up.
Yeah. So what about energy prices? Have we peaked there? Are they going? Because right now oil's trading a low to mid $50 per barrel range. West Texas Intermediate, of course. Does it have much more to fall? Can it go down much lower than that?
Well, as you know, we're always pretty exact. So we say there's a short-term cycle low, and if the crude can close above 54.80, we see a bounce. Longer term, we think gold, I hope you're sitting down, will go to $36.
Mm-hmm. $36, which means all the fracking wells are kind of like unprofitable at that price.
Right, and also natural gas can go much lower. So, it really looks like deflation.
How much can what's your call on NatGas, which you always refer to laughingly as the widowmaker?
Well, the widowmaker is something else. In our age, we should be careful about, what the widowmaker is. But it's a certain artery in the heart that can close, and then, we make widows. The first target is around 2. But we can go to 140 even on low on the NatGas, and the longer term cycles are down for another year and a half.
Oh my goodness! And at 140, they're just going to be shutting down wells all over the place, dry wells, meaning there's wells that are wet gas that contains concentrate that trades almost at the price of a barrel of oil. But even that is going to be diminished in profitability if what you're saying comes true. So we're going to have thousands and thousands of shut-in wells in the U.S. and in other places.
In Canada, we're going to have big problems with the banks because they still have a lot of loans outstanding for natural gas companies. So I don't know. It doesn't look good.
So has dollar peaked? Are we going to look for that to go lower?
No, the dollar makes a new short-term low by the end of June and then goes up again.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
So the reserve currency, regardless what happens, it seems in almost any market, the reserve currency is always a safe haven, or it's perceived to be, and it stays pretty well or makes new highs. So then, if I hear you correctly, then Europe is really in trouble.
Europe is in trouble, but to give you an example, so I'm from Amsterdam, and the funny thing is the 10-year bond is negative. So you have to pay 0.3 to buy the 10-year bond, but it's oversubscribed. So the European people buy their own bonds, and that's the difference with the United States. The United States has all these bonds outstanding with China, and not their own population who buys the bonds. So there are a couple of situations that Europe actually is not in such a bad situation, and the United States could be much worse.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So interest rates probably going to go lower then, huh?
Yeah, they go low. Well, they're going to move up into November, and then for 2 years they're going to move lower.
How low can they go? Can we go to negative here in the U.S.?
No, that's too far away.
Yeah.
That's too far away.
That's a bridge
I can't
too
tell you
far.
exactly how low. I didn't calculate that, but I can come back to you and get the number.
Okay, so you're starting to chart Bitcoin now, correct?
Correct.
What's the chart saying for Bitcoin?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Financial Survival Network is brought to you today by Orin Resources, a junior exploration company with the appetite of a major. It's hot on the trail of the next globally significant discovery, creating enormous potential upside for you, the shareholder. Orin is one of the most aggressive exploration companies pursuing high-grade, scalable gold and copper deposits, and has a premier 7-project portfolio, including its 2 flagships, Committee Bay in the Arctic and Sombrero in Peru. Orin's unparalleled technical team and highly experienced management has a history of success in advancing and monetizing exploration assets. No wonder Orin's been called one of the best in the junior exploration sector. Orin trades on the TSX and the NYSE under AUG. To learn more, go to orinresources.com. That's AURYN resources.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Well, the chart said we got a sell signal at 8,300.
Yeah.
And we have a cycle going up for another 10 days or so. So we said we can test the high one more time, and then we got another cycle top. It's people who don't follow research. Sounds a bit strange that we give the exact dates and the exact levels, but that's how our work works. So we had to wait with the Bitcoin because we need at least 10 years of data.
Right.
So we didn't have enough data, but now we have enough data to chart it.
So my prediction of 6650 by July 20th.
Very possible.
Yeah, that's my call because I thought it peaked at 8,300, but Bitcoin's so volatile, it hit 9,000. And then everybody's rejoicing. Happy days are here again. But this is just, to me, part of a dead cat bounce from the peak of December 2017.
If you want to know how this continues, you look at the gold chart from 1980 and what happened after that. And if you do an overlay, then all these markets have the same psychology. So then you can predict what the Bitcoin is going to do.
Yeah, and there's also technological reasons, security flaws that we won't even get into, but they're major with it, and that could further exacerbate it. That I find fascinating. So the cycle is just about human behavior more than fundamentals one way or the other.
Well, there almost no, in this shows my work, there's almost no fundamentals on Bitcoin. So nobody can say, oh, you have to look at fundamentals.
Yeah, there is no fundamentals.
It makes the work very easy. No discussion about fundamentals.
And so much manipulation and everything else. But hey, in a normal up market cycle, of course, you're going to have manipulation on the upside and the downside, right? When it hits its peak.
The only thing is you have to know when and where the manipulation is. And for this, you need the cycles because they predict if you think there's a manipulation. You can only manipulate a Bitcoin up if the cycle is up. If the cycle is down, you can manipulate whatever you want, but it doesn't work. When you know where the cycles go up and down, you know what manipulation can do.
I see it with companies promoting stocks. Like when the market is heading up and they give that stock a little push, it flies. When the market's going down, it's like pushing a boulder up a hill. I don't remember who that was, Sisyphus or one of the Greek mythological characters. He pushed the boulder up.
Get a stone up, and it fell back all the time.
Yeah, every time he got almost to the top, boom, it fell down. And that's kind of like what we're looking at with markets now. But if it's going down, it's a lot easier to push it down faster. So you can't really change the direction of the market. All you can do is change perhaps the velocity of it rising and falling. So gold stocks, I've got clients. We represent junior miners. We love doing it because some of them are great companies. But just because the price of gold goes up doesn't guarantee that a lot of these dogs are going to go up with it, right?
Well, I think most of them will.
Yeah, rising tide.
And I told some investors, you buy some gold stocks, you take the dividend. It's like, buying small apartments. You get your interest, you get your the people pay you the rent, and you wait till the real estate goes up. Yeah, this definitely is going to be a bull market. So if you want to get in stocks and take the dividend for a couple of percent, then it's going to end well.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You made that call. I remember we talked about it, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And that was before the world really went heavily into vacation rentals, Airbnbs, et cetera. But that strategy that you outlined probably yielded you 13 to 15% per annum in gross returns, including your appreciation. And you didn't have to be in Manhattan or in the go-go markets. You only had to be in like a regular middle-class, working-class market, which, what my advertiser and friend and the guy I work with, Jason Hartman, jasonhartman.com, that's what we do. We find these single-family homes where you can get a nice 8 to 10% cash-on-cash return, and then the appreciation kicks in, and then also you have the amortization of your mortgage. So your return winds up way higher, and then throw in, the fact that there's very few alternatives for ordinary folk to put their money to really get those returns. And you were like spot on about it, Charles.
Yes, but I still tell even now, because I don't think there's anywhere to hide. So I tell people still do the same thing. The real estate is going to come down, but in 3-4 years, it will turn up again. And just sit on it and get your rental income. And that's the safest place to be for people who are not sophisticated investors or traders.
Yeah, because anybody basically, as long as you got half a brain and you kind of know how to deal with people a little bit for these rentals. But on the vacation rental, you can make many, many times that, but it's management intensive. So you either need somebody you trust who can manage the property, or you got to be close by so you can manage it yourself and just not care too much because it's going to get worn down pretty quickly. But the whole Airbnb short-term rental has totally changed the market. So what do you think the biggest surprise is going to be coming up for the next 6 months, Charles? Not so much to you, but to the market as a whole, to the investor public, to the pundits out there, the experts, who we know the experts are always wrong.
Well, I just showed somebody when we went long the bonds, the sentiment was 20% bullish. And now that we're getting close to a top, it's 76% bullish. So they're always on the wrong side. I think the biggest surprise is going to be this deflationary period and lower, after a bounce into November, a couple of years of lower interest rates, which will surprise everybody.
And we'll have gold going up in the face of all of that, huh?
Correct, yeah. Well, that would surprise maybe less, but the fact that interest rates going to be down for 2 years, that's going to be surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, well, the cycle's gone on for so long, the lower interest rate cycle, that it's been for years they've been calling for higher rates, right? For years.
Right.
And every now and then the rates will spike a little bit, and then we have this real bad reaction in the stock market, and then the rates head down almost immediately. Hey, going back to the VIX, all right, you made a call. We talked, I think it was a year ago or maybe 14 months. You made an amazing call on the VIX. It was right around 11 and a half, and it hit 31 within a week of your call. We're looking for a more active VIX.
Well, we're looking in general for the next couple of years of higher VIX, but the next short-term low is the beginning of July.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably, the first week of July, we probably go long the VIX. But if people are listening to this, I really would like them to subscribe. It's not going to cost something in the beginning to our research, because you really have to know how this works and not have one thing that I say and then say, oh, I'm going to go long in July, and not knowing when to go out or what to do.
Yeah, and the VIX is a very fast trade, right? I mean, you blink your eyes, because one day I think it hit 51 for like an hour, and I don't know that anybody could have gotten out at the top there.
But we got out at 50. I can show it to you. I can send you the old research.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. And you can get that. Just go over to Charles Nenner, that's NENNER.com, and click that button for your free trial. And, well, we've got storms going on here and power going on and off. All right, we had to end the interview with Charles. We lost internet service due to severe thunderstorms. We're getting these micro hurricanes that come through where the wind goes up to about 50, 60 miles an hour. We get torrential downpours. It lasts for about 15 or 20 minutes. So many thanks to Charles Nenner. Don't forget about the contest, all right? July 20th, what will be the price of Bitcoin? My guess is $66.50, all right? If you beat me, you get a free quarter. That's the grand prize winner. All right, a second prize winner who beats me and gets second closest, will get a free pre-1965 dime. You know what? Let's just say the top person gets a quarter. The next 5 closest who beat me get a silver dime. We'll call it at that. All right, so go over to charlesnenner.com. That's Charles, NENNER.com. Check out the free trial. Doesn't cost you anything. I'm telling you, that VIX call that Charles made a year and a half ago was nothing short of stunning. I mean, if you had gotten out at 50 there, you would have quintupled your money in about 5 or 6 days. Even if you didn't, you could have easily doubled or tripled your money, which still is not a bad return. So anyways, hey, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for the newsletter, Twitter feed at Kerry Lutz, Facebook page, Financial Survival Network. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.